What's up everybody, it's Greg and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things candle making. If it's made out of wax, we'll talk about it. Today I'm going to be giving you my top 3 tips for beginner candle makers. Alright, tip number 1. Try multiple waxes. So I see a lot of beginner candle makers, they're going to start with some sort of a soy wax. It's cheaper, it's eco-friendly, and it has a good reputation. But they don't really understand the characteristics of it. And the 2 main characteristics of the soy wax are going to be frosting and sinkholes. And unsmooth tops too. So the sinkholes and unsmooth tops, they kind of go hand in hand. So I suggest you try out multiple waxes before you settle on a specific wax for your company. So there are tons of waxes out there. The most popular right now are the blends. So they have soy blends, they have coconut blends, they have paraffin blends, all different kinds and shapes and colors and whatever to do all types of different things. So you should go ahead and get a sample pack of wax. Some of the candle sites out there do have wax sample kits, and you can go ahead and purchase maybe like 10 ounces or 12 ounces up to a pound of 3 or 4 different waxes. This way you can go ahead and pour the candles exactly how you would normally and see how the wax reacts to curing, to the wick, to the fragrance oil, to the jar that you're using. Then when you've seen how each of these waxes react, you can then go ahead and make a large purchase. I see a lot of people making a large purchase right in the beginning and getting stuck with a lot of wax that they're not really happy with. Tip number 2, pick one vessel in the beginning, just one vessel, and I suggest you start with a smaller vessel. I see a lot of people will start with larger vessels, 10, 12, 14 ounce vessels. And what this does is not only are those a little bit more difficult to wick because sometimes they need a double wick, but they take longer to test. Some of those 14 ounce candles can take 40, 50, 60 hours to test. And in the beginning, when you don't really know what you're doing and it's a lot of trial and error, you really kind of want to get answers before the 50, 60, 70 hour mark. So if you start with like a 6 or an 8 ounce candle, you'll be able to get your results much faster because a 6 or 8 ounce candle is only going to burn 20, 30 hours. Then you need to master that vessel. So you need to stick with it. Don't be buying a bunch of different other vessels and now you got a 4 ounce, a 6 ounce, a 10 ounce, a 12 ounce, and different waxes all around, and now you're confused and you have no idea what's going on. Just keep it simple. One jar, make it a small jar, and master that jar. Learn your recipes in that jar and start selling that candle. Once you've sold that candle 100 times, then you can go ahead and add another design to your company line. But it's very important in the beginning not to get too over dramatic with your materials, because a lot of us beginner candle makers are doing this by ourselves and we can't really handle 3 vessels, 2 different waxes. Maybe you're going to add some wax melts and you got to figure out the wick testing, and you're doing branding and you're doing logos and you're trying to build a website and you're trying to do advertising. It's just too much. Just stick with one small vessel until you've mastered it and you can sell it confidently. Then you can go ahead and move on to another one. This is going to save you time. This is going to save you a lot of money. And number 3, maybe the most important tip, test different variables when you're testing your candles out, especially for the first time. I'll see a lot of people, they will test out one candle at a time. They'll get their jar, they'll get their wax, they'll get their fragrance oil, and they'll pour a candle at whatever percent, 6, 8, 10%, it doesn't really matter. And they'll go ahead and they'll test that candle, and for whatever reason they're not happy with the performance of that candle, and now that candle is gone. That wick is considered to be no good, and they're going to go ahead and look for a new wick, when instead they probably should have tested multiple variables like different percentages, maybe different dye amounts if you're using dyes. So you can use anywhere from 5 to 12% in a lot of these waxes, and each one of those percentages is going to make a difference in how the wick performs. Alright guys, that was a quick one. If you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button and I'll be back for more.